There's a man we all know and have all heard of by the name of Moses. I think about Moses and his life on this earth. I think about his time spent doing great and mighty things. And I think of the times that he brought amazing plagues into Egypt and he parted the Red Sea. Times that he presented the 10 Commandments. I think of pillars of fire, great battles. I think of amazing men that followed him. And I think of leading a country out of captivity. This man Moses had an incredible life, and I tend to wonder, did he sit down in the wilderness day after day and think, Lord, what am I doing here? There must have been so many days that Moses sat there and wondered, what next, Lord? Why do you have me here? What's my next step? I feel like I'm just stuck. That's the Moses that crosses my mind. The man, the patriot, George Washington. I see an amazing similarity to this man, this patriot, George Washington, and this great patriarch, Moses. Both men called to lead a nation out of captivity into the promised land. Both men stuck, waiting, wondering, what next, Lord? Both men looking up to heaven, asking for direction. The great general George Washington, suffering a long, cold winter at Valley Forge. What a hard time that must have been for this mighty general. I can only imagine day after day, Washington wondering just as Moses did, Lord, what next? What do you want of us? Seeing his men suffering, dying, blaming him, and wondering, God, what do you have for me next? As a Christian, I can't help but go about my day-to-day, trusting the Lord. But Lord, what do you have for me? What next? What's my next step? We have an example, both in the scriptures and in American history, of two men, two patriarchs, that led the way for us and gave great example of what to do when we are waiting on God, turning to prayer and trusting Him. It's a cold one out there today. It's kind of like the storm that never ends. We just keep getting snow and consistently under 0 degrees up here. Is it ever going to stop? I guess sometimes I just wonder, what's my purpose at this point in my life? What's my end goal? Why am I here? Sometimes it's hard to see the sun through all the snow. It's a cold time and it's difficult to see what the purpose is. As much as I try as a Christian, as an American, to do what's right and to make a difference, sometimes it's hard to take the necessary steps to be great, to be different, to be used. It's hard just to abide and wait on Christ. We see the example from two great men, Moses, found all throughout the scriptures, and George Washington, all throughout American history. These two men at one time had to wait on God and wait for the next steps to prove their greatness. Sometimes we are called to action, and sometimes we are called to wait. Is it the action that tries us, or the waiting period?